Hello friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. I am Jenny and today we are going to have some early morning fun in the cottage garden behind me. It is a beautiful Monday morning. We got some good rain last night, so as you can see we've got some water back here. The gardens have been well watered and they are very happy. I am a happy gardener because I get to come spend some time in one of my absolute favorite gardens. So we're going to do a quick little tour, and then I have just one or two plants that I might want to stick in here. The bed this morning. I was telling Jerry, we were having coffee this morning, and I was like, you know, I'm just going to kind of take it easy. There's not going to need a whole lot of plants in there. And then I went up to the nursery, of course, and I was like, oh yeah, I need some of that. Oh, yep, need that one. Oh, I need that one. And so not that all of the plants are going to get planted, but I would like to have a little bit of everything that's in here. So we'll talk about that later. But first, we're going to do a sweet little quick cottage garden tour. I've had my 2 cups of coffee, so I should be good to go this morning. Let me flip the camera around and let me show you this space. So here we have what I call the cottage garden, because this is just a fun, eclectic mixture of mostly perennials, and then I add in some annuals. I probably could use a little bit more shrubs in this space, but hey, that's all right. So the space that we're going to be focusing on right now, this morning, are these 2 lower beds, hence the cottage garden. And then above that, you will see that I have my 5 garden boxes, and everything is doing really well up there. So we have, in this first box is the garlic that we planted back in the fall. Then we have the carrots and the lettuce that we did, oh gosh, when was that? Late winter, early spring. So everybody is doing really well. I did pull a carrot last night just to test it. Not ready. So we're gonna let them continue to grow and develop. Then we have my herb box right here that has, basically is all herbs, and these are perennials minus the parsley. And then I'm gonna add a basil in there with the pink mink clematis from Proven Winners as my center point. And then in the next bed, I started putting in some tomatoes and peppers. The tomatoes are the Sun Gold tomatoes. They're little cherry tomatoes, beautiful goldy yellow, not really even orange, they're more like a golden yellow color. Started these from seed. They are doing very well. I even have a couple of little babies right there. Marigolds are gorgeous. Love all the different colors. They will be beautiful in the fall. I've got Brenna here beside of me. And then I have my jalapeno peppers that I started from seed, and they are doing really well. They are producing really well, so I'm very happy with those. I may put a small tomato stake on these just so they won't get floppy on me at the end of the season. So everything is doing well, very happy. And yeah, so then of course here we have what I call Hydrangea Hill, because at the bottom we have the little lime hydrangeas. Up top we have Firelight Hydrangeas, and before long it is going to be gorgeous in here. We have had a good bit of rain here lately, and so you can tell that my grass needs to be cut, so just forgive me on that. But and of course the weeds, right? We all deal with weeds, and so we've got to get in here. Wanted to give you an update on the lavender. If you will remember, my mom and I moved this lavender. This is Munstead Lavender, and we have a couple of, there's I think a total of 5 different clumps right here. And you know, I'm showing you warts and all my weeds. We got to get in here and get them out. So the lavender is doing really well. This one especially is very happy. It is getting ready to bust out into some blooms, so that's great. And then a couple of you were asking about an update for the roses of Sharon. This is the Parpaloo Pink. So there's 3 of them. So there's 1, 2, and then 3. This 3rd one was small when we planted it, so it just has a little bit of catching up to do, but it will be fine. They will be huge and beautiful. At the top, we have the Firelight Hydrangeas. Nice, big, beautiful color. And you will notice that we do have the empty space between. I am going to plant the Edge of Night summerific hibiscus here. So excited about this space this summer. It is going to be absolutely stunning. I just simply flip the camera around. The garden boxes are straight in front of me. And then this is just a flower bed that we have created along the wood lines. All of the trees here are just natural native trees, and we're trying to kind of bring this flower bed out a little bit. We've got some gorgeous viburnums. This is the Brandywine, there you go, the Brandywine Viburnum from Proven Winners, and they are really starting to pop out with some flowers. And then you'll notice here that I have along the base of the flower bed is a whole little collection throughout of the new Supertunia Vista Jazzberry Petunia. It is the newest one out on the market, and it is beautiful. And we're going to be using this a lot in our landscape. I'm going to have it here, and then I'm going to be using it also in the cottage garden to tie all of this in. And so let me flip the camera around and I'll show you exactly what I've done here. This is the Brandywine Viburnum up close, and they are, like I said, covered in little flower buds. It will not be long and they will be absolutely exploding. And then what happens as the season progresses, those flowers will turn into blue and red berries. Really beautiful, and I have these viburnums kind of all throughout along the whole length of this flower bed, so that ties it in really nicely. You can see that I have the jazzberries and the newly noir Coleus throughout this bed. Again, consistency, a theme, tying it in. We did get that rain last night, so they're a little smushed down right now. But what I planted here was 2 gallon-sized jazzberries and then 2 newly noir. Now the newly noirs, of course, are small right now. They will quickly catch up, but I planted them really in kind of a mass together so that they will grow really nice and big and do really well. Thinking about it now, I'm wondering if I need to put something behind that newly noir because it is so dark, and against this dark mulch, it kind of disappears. So if you have any ideas, I do have like Prince Tut. If we want to do a different Coleus behind the newly noir, if you've got ideas, you know, shoot them out to me. Tell me what you think so that these new noirs will really pop. All right, now let's get back to the cottage garden and planting. I think the best plan of attack is I'm going to show you the plants that I want to use in the cottage garden because I really don't know where they're going to go. That is the fun of this cottage garden. It is whatever appeals to me, and wherever I want to put it, I can put it there. So what I'm going to do is show you the plants that I want to incorporate into this flower bed, and then once it's all said and done, then we can come back through and I will explain where I put these, why I put them there, and to give you kind of an overview of this cottage garden and the existing plants that are in it. And we have lots of different videos that we have been in this space many times, so I will try to link those as I go through it. But again, this bed is constantly changing, constantly adding to it, tweaking. I mean, that is what gardening is, right? You're always adding, adapting, and changing things up as plants grow and thrive, and maybe some of them don't do so well. So what we're going to do is, first, I do know that, not a plant, but I'm going to put in one of the butterfly houses from Heartwood. So Brenna sees Emily for the first time this morning, the ever protector. So I'm going to put in the butterfly house in here. So when you come to Creekside and you buy a butterfly house, it will come with a stake. So this will go in on the other side of the birdhouse. So we'll have that fun thing in there. We will put in, I really want to use some of the Rockin' blue suede shoes, salvia. I don't have anything blue in this flower bed, so I want to add these beautiful blue flowers in here, and of course the hummingbirds love the salvia. So this is a big pollinator attractor, especially for my hummingbirds, and it will give me some height, and again, that beautiful blue color. So I have a couple of those. We'll see how many I actually use in here. Those will go in. Then I really wanted to use the Senorita Rosalita. So this is a Cleome from Proven Winners. It is, their Cleomes are thornless, so they don't poke you. They don't have, some Cleomes can have kind of an interesting smell to them. These are relatively fragrance free. If you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. But Senorita Rosalita is that beautiful pink color. I do have Senorita Blanca, just right here in the Gatsby gal bed. So the pink will be fun to use there, and it'll give me obviously some nice good height. So I've got those also that are going to go in. Now, if you remember, we have talked about this plum dandy for a long time in our nursery tours and all sorts of things like that. This is just really a foliage plant. We have 3 left at the nursery. Everything has sold out and I don't have any. So I was like, I am gonna grab these 3 plum dandies. It'll only get to be about 16 inches tall. And I say only because in this bed that would be considered a short plant. So I do wanna pop these in the ground at some point in some place kind of up close to the front of the bed and give me that really pretty color. And that way I can see how they do this year. So I've got those. I grabbed my amazel basil that needs to go into the herb box. Then we have got to have Coleus, because Coleus is such an amazing plant. I'm going to use 2. I've got the Color Blaze Golden Dreams. Fantastic. I love this nice pop of color because when you look at the cottage garden, I've got a lot of green right now and I need some color variation. So with this Golden Dreams, we've got more of a chartreuse kind of on the edge and then a little bit of red burgundy on the inside. So we're going to throw some of those in there, and then you cannot go wrong with Wicked Witch. Wicked Witch Coleus is, again, it's kind of the reverse of the Golden Dreams, where it has more of the burgundy and a little less, just a little bit of that chartreuse color on the edges, and all of these will get nice and big. So this will give me some color variation in there. I've got one of the Suncredible Saturn sunflowers that are that beautiful bicolor. I only can have one because they do get quite large in the landscape and I don't have a lot of room for big stuff in here. So I do have a spot picked out that is going to go. Beautiful reblooming sunflower. Love this. And of course it makes great little cut flowers for like your little bud vases and all the good things in our gardens. Do love it. Speaking of loving it, none of my cottage gardens would be complete without Vermillionaire. Vermillionaire is an absolutely fantastic plant, again, for our hummingbirds. I adore hummingbirds. I love them. They are welcome here. I want to have as many hummingbirds as I possibly can. So not only do I have my feeders, but I also have my plants that will attract them. These little tubular shaped orange blooms, they don't get any bigger than that, but it is perfect for the hummingbirds to get right in there and get that sweet nectar, and they love this plant. Now, this plant by itself could get lost in the cottage garden because I've got big daylilies, I've got big lantana, baptisia, amsonia, those things. So my trick is that I plant them in groups of 3 pretty close together, so it looks like I have like a huge massive plant, which will help these plants not get lost in this flower bed. So I may only do like 2 or 3 groups of the Vermillionaire, but there's 3 in a group, so it's nice and big and has a nice big presence. So that's a little trick for you. Then we're going to put in, and again, I may only put 2 of these in here. This is the new climbing sweet potato vine that will be introduced next year. So it's, as you see, it is new for 2023, but it is a climber. So it does the little tendrils and will go up. I want to know, how does it really climb? Do I have to kind of stake it? Do I have to trellis it? What do I have to do? So this is why Proven Winners sends us these plants, so that we can trial them. Next year, I can tell you exactly what you need to do or what you don't need to do when you want to have a climbing sweet potato vine. I'm going to plant this at the base of the birdhouse. So I'm going to plant 2 or 3 of them so they can kind of climb the base of the birdhouse. Again, it's a trial. We'll see how it goes. So we've got those, and then let's see, I got one more plant. So again, you cannot have a cottage garden without attracting lots of butterflies. And of course, I do have lots of butterfly plants already in here, but a great one is the Trufula Pink Gumfrena. This is a fantastic plant for butterflies. They adore it, and it loves the hot sun, and it will do fantastic here. There is one caveat with the Trufula Pink that you, in my opinion, that you might want to be aware of, is that it's very hardy, but it also can be kind of tender. So if you have a 7-month-old German Shepherd, or you accidentally have kids or whatever and something hits it, they will kind of snap off. So you can have branches or stems that will snap off. So that is one thing you need to be aware of, that they are, in that aspect, are tender. But on the flip side of that is it doesn't really hurt the plant long term, because this is a tough plant, and even though the stems can be fragile, it will grow back really quickly and handle it like a champ. No big deal. Just something that you might be aware of. So if you have kids, maybe you have kids that play basketball, right? And you have a basketball goal. Probably wouldn't plant this right behind the basketball goal, because a basketball going right in the middle would definitely split it open. So just be aware of that and where you plant it. All right, so without further ado, Brenna and I are going to get in here and we are going to plant these in here. Again, I have no idea what my rhyme or reason is going to be, and I forgot to tell you that I'm going to plant some of the jazzberries down the length of the steps. So we're going to do that, and yeah, so sit back, enjoy the show while Brenna and I get in here and do some gardening, and I'll meet you back here in a minute, and we'll go through and do a whole garden tour on this space, and I can tell you all about it. Emily is on her way to go run some errands, and she told me that our resident black snake is here, which we call affectionately Blackie. Oh my goodness. Now I know, so for some of y'all this freaks you out. We happen to love our black snakes. They are really good. They are completely harmless. Let's see if we can find him on this side. He's probably wrapped up in the Amsonia somewhere. But black snakes are harmless. I do not see him, so he is well hidden in there in the Amsonia. But yeah, I know for some of y'all that really freaks you out. Again, of course, when we first see snakes, it startles us. We're like, oh, okay, there you are. But we really do like to have the black snakes here in our garden because it keeps down the pest population. Rats, mice, I was gonna say mats. And so, yeah, so he's tucked up in here in the Amsonia. I'm just gonna leave him alone. He was a nice, healthy one. So if you leave snakes alone, they will leave you alone. Just walk away. If it freaks you out, just walk away. It's okay. I know we all have our own little things that drive us crazy, but I am keeping Brenna. She's currently in the Kubota so that she won't come say hello to Blackie, because I don't want them to tangle with one another. So, pardon this little Blackie interruption. Now back to your gardening channel. Okay friends, so I got the first bed planted. I thought it would be nice. Jenny needed a little water break, so I got some water, and I thought it would be a nice little spot to stop and just kind of go through this one bed and let you know what I did. If you have watched any of our videos where I have been planting and Brenna has been with me, you know that she has a wonderful fascination with empty nursery pots, which is the key. They have to be empty, and she's a very smart dog in the fact that if you will notice back here, I'm trying to back up so you can see, she always comes and grabs my pots, and then she finds the shady spot and takes all of the pots up to the shade area because yeah, she's black and got lots of fur and doesn't want to get hot. So she takes the pots and goes up there and does her thing with them and then comes back and gets another one. So let me just kind of show you what we did in this bed. Of course, we got the little butterfly house in there, and I've got a salvia and the vermillionaire in there that the hummingbirds are absolutely going to love. I decided to put the butterfly house here because to give you a little bit of perspective, right? So right here we have the Amsonia, nice and big, and I learned last year that you can actually trim it back to keep it nice and full and bushy so it won't get floppy. As with, look at that beautiful beast of a lemon meringue baptisia, which is the really large shrub right here. It's not a shrub, it's a perennial. I too can trim that back because it is huge. In front, well, it's kind of flanked by some daylilies. The one directly behind the butterfly house will get nice and big. I don't remember which one this is. I don't have them labeled, so when they bloom, then I'll know. I do know that the one in front of it is the Shalom Peony Display. You can see that it is a nice petite daylily and it is covered in buds. So I'm not worried about it covering the butterfly house from the front, as is my iris. This was a beautiful yellow iris. It is done blooming, so we will just have foliage from this point on. I put the salvia kind of in front of it along with a grouping of vermillionaire. There's 4 vermillionaire in there as well. And you can see there's that little golden dreams right here, Coleus, that will fill in this whole area and give me a nice pop of color. I went ahead because you can see in front of the baptisia, that is a Nephophia, a red hot poker. Baptisia is coming into it, so I will definitely need to trim it back so that the Nephophia can bloom and be very happy. I put in the Cleome right there, and then in the back, that is the beautiful blue salvia. That is the perennial. I believe it's the Azure Snow. That is, no, Azure Blue. Sorry, I combined 2 different names there. We have some more massive daylilies. Pretty soon I'm gonna have to probably divide these, probably this fall. 2 separate daylilies right here with the wonderful, and I say this in the best way, the wonderful beast, Perennial Lantana. This is Miss Huff. Miss Huff is one of the perennial for us. You can see that she is covered in buds, and in fact, we have our first one trying to show some color. I have to keep this lantana in check because it could take up this entire bed. You can see where it is really kind of encroaching as the daylilies all grow together. I did not plant anything here in the front, right in here, because this is a butterfly weed, and last year Miss Huff overtook the butterfly weed. Wasn't even sure she was going to come back. Clearly she's very happy in this spot and is covered in lots of flower buds. So she will stay. I will just have to keep Miss Huff cut back on that. And then down here I have another Shalom Peony Display along with the Banana Cream Shasta Daisies. On the left here is the Banana Cream, the original, and then Banana Cream 2 that I got last year. Really fun, gorgeous flowers. This is a Charlotte's Web, beautiful chartreuse color with those really pretty little blue flowers on it. This is the best that it looks really kind of through the season, and then it kind of peters out on me. Then we have I have a lot of daylilies in here. They're all the proven winners, the Rainbow Rhythm series, because they are such magnificent performers. And then you will see going up the side of the steps, we have the Supertunia Vista Jazzberry, along with a Trufula Pink down here at the bottom. This is, I believe this is Opalescence, the Luminary Opalescence. That's Opalescence, and then right above it is the Ultraviolet. Ultraviolet and the Jazzberry will have very similar colors, so that will be fun. Another nice size Cleome, a Wicked Witch down here at the bottom, and then another Nephophia that is, man, little overachiever, already blooming this year on me. And then I did have some trial canna lilies in here last year. This is a red one. Not sure if it's going to stay or if I'm going to pull it out. That will be to be determined. my friends, we are all done for today. Brenna and I have gotten the cottage garden all planted. What started out was a little project turned into an all morning, but hey, I am not complaining. It is totally worth it because it is done and it is going to be spectacular. Flip the camera around. I'm going to show you exactly what I did on this second bed. Folks, we've got the second bed, which, as I like to say about these two flower beds, they are sisters. They are not twin sisters. So we've got, of course, going up the each side of the steps, we do have the Supertunia Vista Jazzberry. These will fill in and we will have a beautiful display going up the steps. I've got, of course, the Wicked Witch back there. I've got, that's a perennial salvia that the butterfly is on. That is Indiglo Girl. We've got, of course, more Vermillionaire. I've got another bright, ultraviolet phlox here with a Gomphrena and the salvia and more phlox. Lots of beautiful things. Of course, the plum dandy. Keep those same plants, repeat them in different patterns so that the beds flow together, but they're not identical. So for example, speaking of not identical, here I have my cute little birdhouse that does have a nest inside of it for its first year, very exciting. And in front of that, I have two Liatris, and Liatris is a fantastic perennial. Clearly, it is a very upright, spiky flower that is going to just be, each one of those spikes is going to be covered in purple flowers. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous. I have two of them, and then you can see back here that I have three of the climbing sweet potato vines. I probably will end up using that same little black stretchy rubber twine that I use for my roses to kind of help it climb up a little bit. And then we have the Cleomes and more Vermillionaire. You can see that the sunflower is planted right behind Babe. Babe is this sweet pig from Unique Stone. I have Babe because my daddy was a pig farmer as I was growing up. So I have a Babe and I got my mama a Babe. So we both have Babes in our gardens. But the Suncredible Saturn will get nice and full and will fill in this space very nicely and be a beautiful contrast to these Loropetalums that are in the back. And we cannot leave this bed without talking about this penstemon. This is Blackbeard from Walter's Gardens. It is just spectacular. It has those gorgeous white and lavender flowers on it. I've got honeybees in there. So it is a nice, big, huge pollinator attractor, but just, you know, look at those flowers. Are they not just beautiful on that nice, pretty foliage? But yeah, so big pollinator attractor, fantastic perennial. And then I have the Amsonia, which gives me lots of fun, different kind of texture and contrast in this bed. Brenna, bless her heart, has found the shade as she always does. I thought this would be a really fun spot right here in the the front of the bed right there to put a Golden Dreams Coleus, because I thought, oh, it'd be really pretty against the Loropetalum and the Amsonia. Well, I should have known better because that clearly is her path up in here. She's up here somewhere, hiding underneath the trees because it's shady, and she has stepped on this thing no less than probably 5 times. If it makes it, great. If it doesn't, oh well, I tried. And then I thought I had cleaned up all of her pots, but no. She has a whole nother stash of pots under here, under the Loropetalums in the shade. The project, there she goes. The project is complete. Very, very happy about this. I probably will go ahead and pull the hose out and only water my Cleome. Everything else, of course, one, the ground was nice and damp because we had that rain last night. This bed is on irrigation. It is considered full sun because even though we started early in the morning, it was in the shade. From mid-morning until the sun goes down, it is in full sun. So it definitely is a full sun bed. Has the irrigation, but the Cleome was just so advanced and so mature in size that the roots had started to come out the bottom. And in the production greenhouse that was in production 1, they had already kind of started to root into the gravel. So when I pulled them out, they kind of went into a little bit of a shock. So I will go ahead and probably shoot them with just a little bit of water because their root systems were dry. I pulled them before that greenhouse got irrigated. So I will shoot them with some water. Other than that, I will just let the irrigation take care of it. Of course, I will keep my eye on everybody to make sure that they are happy. We are getting ready to hit a heat spell, so it's getting ready to get hot and get real here in North Carolina. I'm gonna answer 2 questions because I know this always happens in this flower bed. What are the trees behind me? So the burgundy is loropetalum. I do not know which variety this is. It needs to be pruned because it's no less than probably, oh gosh, 15 feet tall, maybe 12 to 15 feet tall. It's huge. It needs to be pruned. And then behind those, we have 3 of the Thuja green giants. Fantastic evergreens that are fast growers. They hide our tractor shed. You would never know that there's a whole building back there with equipment and everything because these babies do a great job. So goes ahead and answer your question for you. But as always, thank you so much for gardening with Creekside. Of course, we will keep you updated on this space as it grows and matures and develops. But as always, thanks so much for gardening with Creekside. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.